Yeah, hi everybody. Hi Crown Vic lovers. Howard here. Um, this is just a follow up on my last video series on replacing struts and springs, or loaded struts as they're often called, in my 2004 Crown Victoria. Uh, I won't rehash everything, but I did one side at a time. I did one side, drove it a couple days, did the other side. Talked about that last time. And so I thought I'd check in and just give you some thoughts on it now that the job is complete. Um, both upper control arms, replete with all the bushings and ball joints that come on there pre-attached. So I changed the upper control arms with the world's cheapest ones that I could find. They were only about $22 each from Rock Auto. They were on manufacturer's closeout. And they look nice. They do not have grease fittings on the ball joint, but neither did the factory ones. So not sure if I like that or not, but um, you know. Anyway, but I'm happy, and I also changed the strut and springs, which were also very inexpensive. My receipt from 2019, when I bought them and then left them on the shelf for 2 years, said I paid $107 for the pair. That might have been with shipping too. That was from Rock Auto, and those may have been on manufacturer's closeout. They're really cheap. Obviously, you can't pay that now. So I went ahead and did the job, and it's successful. It raised the front end to where it looks, like a real Crown Vic now. This is the LX model. It is not a P71. It's a pretty well decked out LX, which is the deluxe model, but with extra options, which makes the car hard to give up. I was thinking it hit 100,000 miles last week, and I was thinking I've let a lot of things break on it. I could fix them all, or just find something else. Maybe from a drier climate than Buffalo, with less miles on it and stuff. But it was like I can't. It's really hard to find something with that many options without going into a Lincoln Town Car, which would be nice, but that would be a whole nother thing, So I'm very happy with it. It also has a sunroof, which looks factory, but it's not, because we had it installed when we bought the car. It was 3 years old. So it's a little background on the car. Driving impressions. If you're thinking about changing your springs and struts, and if they're old, do it. What a difference! I mean, a completely different car. Things that I thought might be due to like poor tire choices, as far as handling characteristics, really went away when I did this. The rears were done 2 years ago when I bought all the parts. I put the rear springs and shocks on right away. That was probably less than 10,000 miles ago. And now I put the fronts on. So the car really sits nice. It's corner. I mean, for a big, I'd be okay with it if it felt like an old boat, the way the old cars did. I'm old school. But really, to me, this 2004 Crown Vic is kind of high tech, because it has rack and pinion steering. It has struts instead of shocks in the front, and it has all the modern style, suspension setup that came in 2003 when they switched over the platform. And so it does ride to me like a modern car, but compared to the other modern cars, it feels more old school. It's got the front end with the fresh suspension It feels very Lincoln-y. You know, it has a lot of, the front is just like somebody's carrying the front of the car. It's really great. Um, Yet it tracks so straight. When I go up on the highway or anywhere, it's just a pleasure to drive now. It takes very little control input. Yet I can determine, like, do I want to be on the left side of the lane, the right side of the lane? I gave it some of these, you know, to feel it go like this. And it's got a little bit of, you know, ass swing. Only about 5% of what it had. You know, I did select the softest struts I could find, the softest spring rates I could find, all within, you know, specifications for that model, because I wanted it to ride soft. You know, I've got other cars that ride like rock. You know, I've got performance cars. I wanted this car to really be a nice cruiser. Yet, being a Crown Vic, it really handles well, performs well in all respects, especially now. So it gave me a much greater appreciation for the design of these Crown Vics, the engineering that went into them, and the refinement that they achieved from keeping the model year going for so many years and through so many you know, government and fleet applications. So that's about it for that. I'll do a follow-up, you know, further down the road. The only thing, you know, that the suspension could use now is two of the tires are getting pretty thin, still legal, but pretty thin. Two of them I bought recently, but the wear has been very even, and I am not planning on getting a wheel alignment. I think the alignment feels perfect, and I think it probably is now that the car is sitting higher, and it brought the wheels back into the alignment that they were in years ago, just from the spring settling. So pretty cool stuff. What's next? Today I ordered complete rear brakes from Rock. No, I was going to order from Rock Auto. I brought up the thing. I picked out what I wanted: the rear rotors, rear calipers, pads, parking brake rebuild kit. You know, as far as the hardware, and priced it all out. And then I went to my commercial account at my local AutoZone Pro, it's called, because my shop is licensed. So I got a commercial account there, and I went on and I thought I'd see what they got, you know. Usually if you can wait, you know, you save money with Rock Auto, you know, but I don't know, less and less, you know. So I looked on there, and the price was pretty close, you know, and they had everything. I could pick it up tomorrow. And a few dollars more. But when you figure the shipping and everything, it still came out to a few dollars more picking them up locally. But I can get them sooner, and it's easier to return the cores. You just take the calipers down there, and you can just hand them these greasy calipers, and they smile and click your account for you, and you get the refund. You know, it's pretty nice. And if there's ever a mix-up or a defect with a part, of course, we all know local is beautiful, and that's why, you know, commercial shops like to use local rather than ordering it, because you need it. Well, you need it for the customer right away, typically, and you just need that extra level of service as far as the speed of. Because often, you know, there's some kind of problem with a part, you know, and so you could swap it out without having to reschedule the customer. So, and they deliver if you want them to drop it off. So that's a little discussion of buying local versus Rock Auto. I love Rock Auto. I'll continue to buy a lot of things there. So I went with remanufactured calipers. I went cheapo because, you know, the difference between Um, Affordable rear brake components and expensive. I really think it's not a linear type of progression between matching the cost to the fussiness of the product. I went with semi-metallic because I like the better performance of the semi-metallic, and I don't care if it wears the rotors a little quicker. I did order rotors, cheapos, uncoated. I think I would have got a better one for that money at Rock Auto, but this is the way the deal worked with the local ones. No big deal. I could even spray the centers if I want. It's no big deal. I oil the cars anyway to keep them from rusting, as well as carefully, the brake components so the oil doesn't get on the rotor friction surfaces. The rear parking brake has been in op for a couple months, so this kit should fix that, and it'll be nice. The brakes are still good. They just look like hell when you inspect them. They're still legal. Calipers are really rusty. They look like junk calipers, but they're not leaking. But that's the time to replace them. You don't want brake parts that look like junk, because if they look like junk, they're going to be junk. The idea of preventative maintenance is so you don't have to do the maintenance when you don't want to, and brake parts are so cheap. So I'll be doing that, and is it going to improve the performance of the car? I'm not expecting it to, but it'll probably surprise me, and just having a full pedal, and the rear rotors, do look a little chewed up. New brakes always feel good. The fronts, when I redid the front strut and had to disassemble the brake, it was kind of nice to get in there because I discovered the one side, the driver's side brake caliper, the pads were seizing to the caliper slides. They were very tight. They wouldn't move, and they actually were not fully releasing, and if you spun the wheel while it was up on the lift, it was dragging, so that would not have been a good situation very long. So I freed them up, and I put new lube on. They say the best type of lube after all is not brake lube, but it's actually the silicone lube. The silicone grease is better, especially here in the northern climates where brakes really get dirty and rusty and messed up. But did I do that? No, I had the tube sitting right there, but my jar of black brake grease was sitting right there because I was using it. I just use it as junk grease now to lube like bolts and stuff, but so it was there. So I went ahead and lubed the slides because I'll probably go through the fronts at some point anyway, although it's too soon to do it. Other than those slides need to be, I should probably replace the slides and re-lube them. I sanded them and polished them. Seems okay, but I was really more concerned about getting the struts in there and just mitigating this brake problem so that I could kick the can down the road. So that's it. Going to be taking the car out in a little while. I'm at the shop right now, and the car shop. I'm going to drive the Crown Vic and pick the wife up at our house, and we're going to go to a house party for New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve tonight. Happy New Year, everybody. Here's our Crown Vics. Gain another calendar year, and I think I'm only at about 100,000 and like 12 miles. I don't put a lot of miles on this car, even though it's the main car I drive. So give me your comments about your own Crown Vic experiences if this helps you in any way. I know most guys, video you with their car and with the tools and everything. And I did take photographs and some video, but I guess this is almost like, I could almost say this is like a New Year's resolution, because it was sort of a resolution, and it happens to be coming around New Year's for me, is I want to start posting more YouTube. of things other than my music, because those are easy to video because they're real time. But I don't want to do any screw it when it comes to editing. So I'm going to try to do the best job I can without editing. At least I'll get them up there. Otherwise, I never get around to blasting them up. So I kind of, one thing leads to another, and I kind of like having a fireside chat about a car repair, which we did on the last video. I was actually by the fireplace enjoying a cocktail at home. So to all you and your shop and your family and your pets, Happy New Year. Have a great 2022. I know there's a lot of challenges in the world for 2022, but they're not on my desk, What can I do except worry? And that's not healthy. And we all just do all our part. My theory is if we all do what's on our desk, what we're supposed to do the best job we can, well, then cumulatively, we're all doing the best job we can. How could the world not be the better for it? And in other reasons for optimism, I got some good news today on a music project, my show business thing. Some good news for 2022 that will make me and a lot of people that are interested in this pretty happy. So, on that high note, we'll end this year. And Happy New Year. Don't go too crazy tonight.